Okay, I'm going to cut the speech at that point. You can go to the Blaze and watch it in its entirety. One of the things that is very significant is one of the Republican attackers who has been going after Mitt Romney, Perry, only got 1% of the vote. And Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum, two other attackers, if you will, from the Republican Party, each got 10% of the vote. They are tied for fourth. And they are attacking, of course, the number one candidate. We'll talk more about that, but I want to now turn to my special guest, and I want to welcome you to KTalk. Would you introduce our guest, please?
Yes, thank you, Mills. My name is Doug Harris. I'm local here. I live in Highland, Utah. I've lived in the Salt Lake Valley for about 25 years, and I think I've listened to KTalk from 30 years back and on and off since then. So I'm very excited to be here, and I have a guest to introduce. I am a board member of a group called IANDS. I'm sure a lot of your audience is familiar with that, the International Association of Near-Death Studies. And, of course, we deal with people who've died and come back. Otherwise, it'd be hard to hear about it. So, and we have a special guest tonight. We've flown in from Las Vegas, Nevada. His name is Matthew Dovel. Is that correct?
That's
Have I
correct.
pronounced it right?
Thank you.
And he's had a very unique experience. He's had two, in fact. I don't want to take the fire out of his story here, but he's had a heavenly experience in his youth, and then in a quest to get back there, he had a hellish experience as a result of a suicide attempt, and that's been many years ago now. He spent 25 years approximately in the field of suicide prevention. That's kind of the gift that he's brought back with him. And so it's a hopeful message, perhaps from a negative experience in some aspects. But I'll turn the time over to him. And before we do that, though, we are having him speak at our group tonight. And we meet every second Wednesday of the month, and that's tonight, over at the Salt Lake County buildings. That's 21st South and State in Salt Lake. And we're in the north building. It's the northeast corner, and it's a very nice facility. So if you can make it there, that'll be 7 p.m. tonight. No charge. It's always a great meeting. So if you can make that, come on out and hear Matthew and be able to ask some questions personally. And without further ado, we'll turn it back to Mills and Matthew.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And let me second the point that those meetings are fascinating. I've been to several myself, and I strongly recommend that those of you who can enjoy the experience. Matthew, tell us what happened to you the first instant.
You know, it's kind of ironic. I think you've interviewed me years ago. Now that I think back, your name is very familiar to me. It was probably back in 2004 or so. I shared the story with you back then. A lot's taken place since then, obviously. The story begins when I was, I was born, obviously, and
at a very early age.
Yes, very young. You got to have a sense of humor when you're talking about this, because otherwise you'll end up killing yourself like I tried to. My upbringing was very non-religious. I think I went to church twice, a couple of Baptist churches, and it just didn't seem to appeal to myself or my family. So we really were not what you would call, quote, religious people in any shape or form. We didn't sit around the table and pray before dinner or anything. I mean, it wasn't like that at all. And so before, I wanted to preface that so when I have this experience, you'll know that I really had no opinion one way or the other of what was going to happen if I was going to die. At the age of 12, I'm across the street at a neighbor's house. It's summertime, beautiful day. We're screwing around. Friend, he's the only one that's got the pool, so we're over there, and I decided I'm going to swim the full length of the pool and impress the girls that are there. And this was well beyond my swimming capabilities at this time. I swim halfway across underwater, and I'm thinking I need to get some air at this point. and decide, I'm going to push on. Pride and ego start kicking in, and I decided I'm going to go all the way over to the other end of the pool and come up to my friends and give them a good scare and look like the hero to these girls. I'm 12. You gotta kind of
brilliant.
Give me some slack. So as I get close to them, I'm really thinking I need some air, and so my whole plan is pretty much out the window at this point. I just want to get some air at this point. As I come up to them, they've got they're in the water up to their elbows, hanging on the side of the pool, and they see me coming, and they put their feet on my shoulders, and they shove me back down to the bottom of the pool. And it's a kidney-shaped pool, 8 feet deep, and it's a round, smooth bottom. And I slid down to the bottom. And I was kind of surprised, to say the least, by this turn of events. And panic kicked in, and I decided I better get to the surface quick, or I'm going to not be able to make it to the surface. And I clawed at the side of the pool and swam, and I'm not the brightest person, so I swam back the same direction I just came from. And I get to my friends, and they do the same exact thing again. This time I'm fighting this time, but they managed to push me back down to the bottom of the pool again. And I'm down face down at the bottom of this round pool, in the murky part of the water, where the slime and everything settles. And I realize that I cannot get to the surface, no matter what I do at this point, without having to take a breath of water. And the panic and terror of this experience is pretty incomparable.
Still memorable.
It is still memorable, but there's really nothing I can compare it to. And that moment that I decided I'm going to have to take a breath, I inhaled the water, and at that instant I'm engulfed by a white light. And I'm from face down, I'm looking up at about a 30 to 45 degree angle, and I'm going into this light. And I have a life review. It's a short review. I'm 12, so it's not like I'm going through all
the great
stuff.
evils that you perform.
Yes.
Right?
Actually, these are all beautiful moments. My mother, she used to make fried bologna sandwiches when we'd go to the grocery store in New York. She'd bring home the fresh bologna, fry them up, put them on fresh bread, the real Weber fresh. Just delicious. And I remember chewing on that, and just that moment, my mother, that love she felt for me. And in the backyard when I'm like 3 or 4, and I'm in the grass, and you can see everything's like high def, the colors, the clouds in the sky, and just little moments like this, just beautiful, surreal moments that I had that were great. I passed through the life review. I go into the light, and I'm actually shooting across the galaxy, because I noticed that I can see on the side of me like stars passing. So I know I'm in space and I'm going across, but I don't breathe or anything, so I'm just at peace. And I can see this light, and I notice that I'm in a white robe, because I can see my body. I look down at myself and I see that I'm in a white robe. And the light is particles. There's actually particles streaming out of this light, and they're actually hitting. Some of them are actually hitting me, and they permeate my very soul, adding to me something that I lacked. I don't know what it was, but I remember observing this peculiar type phenomena that was taking place at the time. As I get closer to the light, I notice there are 12 silhouettes of individuals blocking my path. I can't make out who they are, but they're blocking the path. And I'm thinking, well, they're blocking the path. There's no why are they doing it? There's no questions. I'm just happy to be at this place. It's such a beautiful experience. And out of the center of the 12 comes the individual. And as he gets closer to me, I see who it is. And it's God. And I know it's God. And I know that I've always known this, which is extremely odd to me. And he gets closer, and he's the most beautiful creature I can even describe. There's no describing. I know he's perfect in every way.
Clean shaven or bearded?
Clean shaven. Long hair, white robe.
hold that thought. There's much more coming. You're listening to Drive Time Live, the Mills Crenshaw Show on KTalk.
Times have been tough. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, consumer credit payments, or your car or truck is at risk of being repossessed, there are options. The time to seek legal help is now. Utah Bankruptcy Professionals want you to know that there's no cost to learn what your options are. At Utah Bankruptcy Professionals, your legal rights will be explained fully. You'll understand your options: facing foreclosure, the repossession of a vehicle, or dealing with creditors who just won't stop hassling you. Utah Bankruptcy Professionals may be able to help you keep your home, reduce your payments, save your vehicle, or possibly eliminate your debt altogether. Behind on your mortgage? A home loan modification may be the best option for you. Utah Bankruptcy Professionals can help. Their experienced attorneys understand your concerns, and they'll gladly provide the counsel you deserve. You don't want to wait until it's too late to save what you've worked so hard for. Contact Bankruptcy Professionals today. 801-501-0100. That's 801-501-0100, or visit them online at utahbankruptcy.com.
It's time for Utah Eagle Forum's annual convention, Saturday, January 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Salt Lake Radisson Hotel 215 West, South Temple in Salt Lake. Guest speakers include John Eidsmoe and Kevin Freeman, CFA. Also, Congressman Rob Bishop, Congressman Jason Chaffetz, U.S. House District candidates, U.S. Senate candidates, Utah gubernatorial candidates, State Representative LeVar Christensen, Director of United Families Utah, Laura Bunker, Constitutional expert Scott Bradley, Constitutional Speaker Jim Norlander, Matt Hilton, Ken Howard, Gail Ruzicka, Marianne Christensen, Delane England, Eagle Ops, entertainment, and more. Don't wait. Register today. For more information, call 801-8077 or online at utaheagleforum.org. That's 801-756-8077 for more information. Don't wait. Register today. Last year, the Utah Eagle Forum Convention sold out. 801-756-8077.
Friends of the Constitution, are we having a problem with immigration officers? If we had the representation in the House that the founders designed, our representatives would simply walk into that officer's place of business and say, "Sir, it has been demonstrated that you are not protecting the people's rights by refusing to comply with the immigration law that you were sent to enforce. Box your stuff. You no longer have a job." That is the power of the House. And if the action passes the people's representatives in the Senate, neither the federal courts nor the President of the United States has the power to effect the action. Remember, this is the people's government, not the President's. He is but one of the officers. Download your free copy of Government Based on the Original United States Constitution at k-talk.com. That's k-talk.com.
AM 630 KTalk. Grab your phone and make the call. Drive Time Live with Mills Crenshaw.
Welcome back. We're talking with Matthew Dovel, whose near-death experience I think you will find profound. All right, Matthew, you had just, to your surprise, seen Deity, clean-shaven, so he wasn't an old man.
No, he was about 30, I'd say, and piercing blue eyes. Just every aspect of him was perfect, from his movement to what his intentions were. There was no accidental movements or thoughts on his part. Everything was predisposed. I mean, I could tell. The only thing I can describe it to is I worked with a carpenter, a master carpenter once. I trained under him. And every move, he would have like 5 moves. Like, he would cut, he would go back, he would put the saw down, pick up a pencil, come back. You know, every move, there was 5 moves he would have where he wouldn't waste any energy. It was like watching a ballerina. Perfect. He says you measure twice, cut once, you know, that type of mentality. But this was a perfect being. in every aspect. I mean, I could tell that this was God, and I knew that I'd always known him. And it was humbling to me to even be in his presence. And I just wanted to be there. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to do anything other than just stay in his presence. And he came up to me as he got closer. He could talk to me, but without using his lips. And he told me, "You have to go back. You got work to do." And he reached out and grabbed my left arm. And he grabbed it like you would grab a snake. like, you don't want it to get away. And he reached out and grabbed me purposefully. And I start mouthing no. And as I do, I'm instantly back in my body. I'm on my back on the side of the pool with all my friends standing over me with this terrified look on their face, like they're in trouble because, kids, you do something bad.
We just killed our buddy.
Yes. And I'm laying there, and I'm looking up, and I'm like reborn into my body. I can feel every hair on my body, the sunlight on me, the wind rustling across me, and I'm mouthing no, and the water's coming out of my mouth instead of the words no. And something came over me at that moment that I had never felt before, and it was rage. Just complete and utter rage, mad, pissed off that I was back here. And I could not speak. I couldn't speak for 3 days after this. I got up and I ran home, and I didn't know what to think. This is in like 74, 75, something like that. And they had mental health hospitals back then that were state run, and I just seen One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So I'm thinking, I heard of these people, Jesus freaks, and I'm thinking, this is where they're going to send me now, because I actually know that Jesus is real and he's God, and he put the fear of God in me, and I'm thinking I'm going to go to this mental health place because no one's going to believe me, first of all. So I'm pissed off. I think this is hell. I really believe, because I'm spiritually and emotionally emancipated at this point. I could see the world for what it is, and it is a wicked place. I watch TV, and I can feel. I have these empathic powers where I can feel people. I see the announcers on the news at night, and I know they're lying. I know that they're just horrible people. It's a horrible experience to have this.
What a profound position for a 12-year-old to be in.
It was horrible. It was mortifying to have to witness the world for what it was, and I felt that this was hell at that point. And it wasn't but a couple years later that I went to a Billy Graham revival, and he's up there talking, well, you got to believe in Jesus, and I'm thinking, well, heck, I met him, so this is not a stretch for me. I know who he is, and so okay, I'll do this Christian thing and believe and get saved, and then somebody told me that once you're saved, you're always saved, and I'm thinking, okay, so I can do whatever I want to now. I'm going back to that place when I die, but I was still having this problem dealing with what I'm feeling about this place, and it was very uncomfortable. When I'm in a room of people, I can tell when somebody's disturbed, like they've been molested, they've been raped, they're on the verge of bankruptcy. I mean, all this stuff, I can feel their emotional pain. It's very, to this day, I feel it now.
Empathic abilities.
Yes. And I don't like this, but it's just part of the side effects of having passed over. It's one of the most intense side effects I have, and it's very difficult. So at the age of 15, I found something that actually made it stop, and it was called alcohol. And I started drinking to cause the side effects of the near-death experience to subside. So I could drink a beer or have some whiskey, and for the rest of the day I wouldn't have these side effects from
that became addictive, I guess.
Yeah, by the time I was 25, I had progressed to cocaine, basing, had $1,000 a week cocaine habit. So I was very I was not a nice guy, let's put it that way. And I was doing things I shouldn't be doing, but hey, I was saved, and I figured I could do whatever I want to.
You know what? I have to This must make you absolutely furious that this myth that once you are saved, you're always saved. That must make you very angry.
Well, it does, but for me, I think it's a dishonor to Christians because to give you carte blanche to go out and act however you want to and say you're saved is an injustice to other Christians, and that's not the way we're supposed to act.
Yeah, that isn't what Christ taught.
No,
but
it's not.
This modern myth.
Yeah, it is. It is total myth, and it's propaganda is what it is, in order to make us feel good. And it's not about feeling good. That's the bad part.
All right, we're going to jump ahead. Because I just found out you can't stay for the next full hour. And I threatened to keep you here by bodily harm, but that's not going to work. So let's jump ahead. There came a time when you wanted out. You wanted to commit suicide, correct?
That's correct. I got to a point with my addiction that I said, I don't want to live this way anymore. I really don't. It's so horrible that I'm doing things that are just... The bottom line is I was acting like a fool. And I didn't read this in the Bible until after I had attempted suicide, but a fool is somebody who acts as if there's no God. That's a fool. So I'm acting like a fool out there. And so I decided, this thought came to me. I know where the thought came from, but it said, you just kill it and it'll solve all your problems.
I'll go back to that beautiful place.
That's right. You'll be in paradise tonight. So 6 hours after I made this decision, I was out taking these 3 bottles of sleeping pills and a fifth of gin, and wanted to sleep into the next or whatever it is after this. I was just going to pass off into the night and wake up with Jesus. That's what I thought.
Didn't work.
No, that wasn't the plan. That's not God's plan anyways.
Howard Storm has described his death. He was an atheist and a thoroughly bad guy. And he described his event or his descent into hell, if you will. Tell us what happened to you.
Well, the hell experience lasted 3 days. It was a very long, very intense, very scared straight experience for me. It started out where I started having these flashes of light, and I'd have to say I was in purgatory at first, and it was here, but it was in another dimension. I'm here, but I'm not. But I can't see the people who are actually here. But I'm in this world, and it's a black and white world with no color whatsoever. Just shades of gray. Shades of gray. Cloud, sky. I mean, I went from blue sky, horizon, to shades of gray and the cloudy sky instantly, boom, with a flash of light. I extremely tired, and it wasn't from the sleeping pills. I mean, physically wanting to rest constantly for 3 days, just think of the most fatigued you've ever been in your life, and all you want to do is just sit down for a moment. And there is no peace. There's no rest. There's nothing good in this place. Not one iota. Remember the movie Constantine? They have a version of hell in this. I think somebody actually had a near-death experience that actually created this, because it was really close. The only thing that was different for Hollywood was that they put in shades of red, which there wasn't any color in this place. I was dropped into a pit that was blacker than black. I mean, I dropped to this pit, and I felt like I was going to die when I hit the bottom. It was kind of ironic. I'm trying to kill myself, and I'm afraid I'm going to die when I hit the bottom of this pit. But before I hit the bottom of the pit, I'm split into 7. And this is where it gets kind of weird, like Christmas Carol, the story from Dickens. I have 7 of me, and I'm in this place, this cavern, and I can comprehend all 7 simultaneously. 2 of me are living past events, 2 are living future experiences, and 2 are living present. And it's all interactive with people I've emotionally hurt. So I'm back from my childhood. I'm 5 years old, and I take this little trinket off this counter, and it was my aunt's, and it was the last thing her husband had given to her before he passed away. And I got to experience the emotional trauma of her looking for 3 days for this, weeping, crying, searching through the house. I'm 5, you know. I don't know how I can be held accountable for something like that, but I am. That's what sin is. And then the present, I'm experiencing my mother come into the coroner's office and my dead body on the slab there, and her collapsing and experiencing the emotional trauma of her identifying me. I mean,
still hurts.
Those things are what really get to me. And in the future, seeing the impact of my suicide on those I love, and feeling it, getting to experience what my life impact was. And all that is really not the bad part. Believe it or not. The bad part was, if you noticed, I only mentioned 6. The seventh of me.
Hold that 7th.
Okay.
We'll get to that. We're coming up on the top of the hour news break, and it's apparent to me that you still feel the impact of this. Emotionally, it's still very real to you.
Every day. There's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't think about these.
All right. We're going to come back after the top of the hour news. We're going to learn about that 7th experience, and we're going to hear the rest of the story, how you got out of this and what a difference it's made in your life. And we'll do that right after top of the hour news. You're listening to Drive Time Live, the Mills Crenshaw Show on KTalk. Don't miss this, friends. This is real. Your chance to find out what it's really like on the other side. And if you know anybody who might be suicidal, they better listen. This is Drive Time Live, the Mills Crenshaw Show.
PC laptops. You've seen it all over the news. Malware and spyware infections are at an all-time high, and no brand of computer is immune. Many protection programs do not protect you from everything, so people and companies are losing billions of dollars of cherished memories and data. Thieves are stealing social security numbers and personal information. At PC Laptops, we've been removing these evil diseases for over 17 years. Is your hard drive clicking? Did your kids drop your laptop or spill something on it? Did a bad person sabotage your computer? Did you know at PC Laptops, we can recover data from most crashed hard drives? We can help. If your desktop or laptop is acting slow or strange or dead, just bring it into any PC laptop store right now for a free scan and evaluation, no matter what brand it is. In fact, we're so good, if we can't fix it, we'll buy it from you. So get into any one of our locations right now or call us at 1-877-596-SAVE or check us out at PCLaptops.com. PC Laptops, we really love you!
It's time for Utah Eagle Forum's annual convention, Saturday, January 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Salt Lake Radisson Hotel 215 West, South Temple in Salt Lake. Guest speakers include John Eidsmoe and Kevin Freeman, CFA. Also, Congressman Rob Bishop, Congressman Jason Chaffetz, U.S. House District candidates, U.S. Senate candidates, Utah gubernatorial candidates, State Representative LeVar Christensen, Director of United Families Utah, Laura Bunker, Constitutional expert Scott Bradley, Constitutional Speaker Jim Norlander, Matt Hilton, Ken Howard, Gail Ruzicka, Marianne Christensen, Delane England, Eagle Ops, entertainment, and more. Don't wait. Register today. For more information, call 801-8077 or online at utaheagleforum.org. That's 801-756-8077 for more information. Don't wait. Register today. Last year, the Utah Eagle Forum Convention sold out. 801-756-8077.
You're listening to Utah's first #1 talk station. KTalk, AM 630, KTKK, Sandy, Salt Lake City. The whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
CNN Radio, I'm Shelby Lynn. The U.S. Marine Corps is investigating a disturbing video that surfaced on the Internet. It shows a group of Marines urinating on 3 dead bodies. CNN's Barbara Starr reports the Pentagon is trying to identify those in the video.
They are going to start looking and seeing if anything matches a potential unit that served potentially in Afghanistan, that they might be able to determine who this was and what they exactly were doing here.
A Mississippi judge has issued a temporary injunction blocking the release of prisoners pardoned by outgoing Governor Haley Barbour. Barbour pardoned almost 200 people, including 14 convicted killers. 5 have already been released. After his showing near the bottom of the pack last night in New Hampshire, Republican presidential candidate Rick Santorum is focusing on South Carolina, with that state's primary just over a week away. Santorum tells CNN he's ready for what's shaping up as a potentially negative campaign in the state.
This is not my first rodeo, so I've been bucked a few times. I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to be in the fray, nice to be in the arena.
The U.S. says it didn't have anything to do with the killing of an Iranian nuclear scientist. The nuclear expert was killed in a car bombing in Tehran, and the Iranian government is blaming the U.S. and Israel. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton says that's just not true.
I want to categorically deny any United States involvement in any kind of act of violence inside Iran.
Meantime, Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad visited Cuba today as part of a whirlwind tour of Latin America aimed at shoring up support in the region. He delivered a speech at Havana University and is expected to meet with the high-ranking government officials, including Cuban President Raul Castro. For news anytime, go to CNN.com. This is CNN Radio.
Hello?
How are those New Year's resolutions coming?
I'm eating cake, so...
How about a new resolution? To save.
Announcing big savings at the Sears MLK event, like up to 25% off all Kenmore appliances. Plus, save an extra 10% off all appliance brands, $4.99 and up with your Sears card.
Now this is a resolution I can do.
You're still eating cake, aren't you?
No.
Think you know how to save? Think again. Sears, #1 in appliances. Exclusions apply. See store for details. Kenmore savings range from 5 to 25%. Offer valid 1/13 through 1/17.
We all know that email marketing from Constant Contact is a powerful tool for small businesses. But now, Constant Contact is kicking it up a notch, helping you tap into the wonderful world of social media. Your customer now gets your informative email, but with an extra boost. A share button that lets them spread your message to all their friends. So your powerful email is now a super powerful social media email. And super powerful is way better than powerful. Go to ConstantContact.com and sign up for a free 60-day trial today.
We're all resolving to run our lives a little better. Why not start with making sure our vehicles run better, too?
The seasons have taken a toll on your car and your car battery. But Sears Auto Center, featuring Die-Hard batteries, is here to help. Come in today and ask about a free battery check, so you don't have to worry about getting stuck with a dead battery. Plus, save on all Michelin tires and get a $70 Sears Award card instantly when you buy 4. So you can add another resolution saving some money. Go to SearsAuto.com for more money-saving offers and coupons. Sears Auto Center. While card quantities last. In-store only. Ends 1/28. Exclusions apply. See store for details.
Probiotics keep your digestion on the right track.
Give your gut the gift of microflora.
Isn't it time you gave back to your colon?
Looking to take a probiotic but not sure which to choose? Then try new ProNutrients Probiotic from the makers of Centrum. Containing 2 of the most studied probiotics, its dual action formula supports digestive balance and healthy immune function. ProNutrients Probiotic, one of the new line of supplements that works with your multivitamin.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. The world-renowned 2012 PC Laptops Annihilator laptop has arrived. The flagship of all PC laptop notebook computers, the Annihilator's beauty runs far deeper than its alluring profile. The Annihilator features the latest second-generation Intel Core i7 processor, coupled with a 17.3-inch full 1920 by 1080p high-definition LED display. It produces impeccable clarity. From CAD design to gaming domination to running a giant business empire, you will annihilate all your competition. The Annihilator is meticulously handcrafted in South Jordan, Utah. Every new PC Laptop's desktop computer comes with a lifetime service guarantee. Whoa! Plus, we're doing 0 down, 0 interest for a year on any new PC Laptop's computer. Get in right now before they're all gone. Call us at 1-877-596-SAVE or check us out at PCLaptops.com. PC Laptops, we love you!
It's time for Utah Eagle Forum's annual convention, Saturday, January 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Salt Lake Radisson Hotel 215 West, South Temple in Salt Lake. Guest speakers include John Eidsmoe and Kevin Freeman, CFA. Also, Congressman Rob Bishop, Congressman Jason Chaffetz, U.S. House District candidates, U.S. Senate candidates, Utah gubernatorial candidates, State Representative LeVar Christensen, Director of United Families Utah, Laura Bunker, Constitutional expert Scott Bradley, Constitutional Speaker Jim Norlander, Matt Hilton, Ken Howard, Gail Ruzicka, Marianne Christensen, Delane England, Eagle Ops, entertainment, and more. Don't wait. Register today. For more information, call 801-8077 or online at utaheagleforum.org. That's 801-756-8077 for more information. Don't wait. Register today. Last year, the Utah Eagle Forum Convention sold out. 801-756-8077.
Drive Time Live with Mills Crenshaw.
6:06 in the Mountain West. You're listening to Drive Time Live, the Mills Crenshaw Show, and we're talking with Matthew Dovel, and we're learning about his experience. When he was 12, he had a drowning experience, and he went to paradise, a very beautiful, uplifting experience. Met the Savior, was told he had to come back. But as his life progressed, he changed his view of the world, I guess, and became involved with alcohol, drugs, and the time finally came, as we learned just before the top of the hour, where he attempted to take his own life and went into a very, very ugly situation. Matthew, I'll let you pick it up from there.
Okay, where we were talking before was the I had 7 of me in this place. That I can describe it. It doesn't take too long. I mean, I'm there for 3 days, so I can really describe this place in great detail. But I know that the single focus of my thought process while I'm there is, how do I get out? That was the one thing on my mind the entire time I'm there, in between being attacked with these situations from my past, present, and future. As I get to the 7th of me, it's me, and I'm on my hands and my knees, on my face, weeping, and it's the ground is a clayish material like you would have on a tennis court, a clay tennis court. So they would get on your hands and clothes. So I'm dirty. It's hot. The atmosphere is heavy. It's dense. Sound doesn't travel. I'm down on my hands and my knees, and I'm weeping. And there's like a cloud or steam coming from the ground, and it's circling around me. And there's light shining down on me on the 7th of me. And on the 3rd day, I'm drawn up into this one of me. And I'm weeping for Jesus to save me for 3 days in this one instance. And I'm on the 3rd day, I'm picked up by, like you would pick up a puppy dog, by the back of the neck, and I'm lifted out of this place. And I know who it is. I know it's Jesus. And he's telling me again, he goes, you got work to do, and you can't do it if you're doing drugs or alcohol. And then he gives me a vision that's more disturbing than anything I've seen here, and it's eternity in hell. And this is indescribable, because it's like, the only thing I can describe it to is if you're with a blind person that's been blind from birth, and you're trying to describe a color to him. That's what it'd be like for me to describe eternity to you. And it's much worse than anything I can even put into words. So I'm pulled back through this blackness, and as you know, God pretty much is pulling me out of here. But He showed me I'm just going through this blackness, and I start hearing my voice, or somebody calling my name, Matthew, and they're screaming at me, and they're angry, and I know I'm coming up, and I come up into my body, and I'm in a totally different place. I'm 6 miles away from where I attempted suicide, and I'm in bed, and my roommates are there, and they're pissed off because I had left a suicide note, and they've been out all night looking for me. I have no idea to this day how I got back there because I couldn't even walk. I got up out of bed and I fell on my face because you don't want to take sleeping pills and alcohol, by the way, because that disrupts your neurology, the nervous system, your motor functions. For 6 months after this, I could barely walk because my motor functions were damaged and my nervous system was damaged. I couldn't sleep through the night for 2 years without having to get up and go to the bathroom a few times a night. And my body's healed since then, but these are just the side effects, damage I did to my body by taking the sleeping pills and gin. I cried for a week when I came out of this. I believed that I had been to hell, and I knew that I was going to go back there if I continued on the path I was on. So I was scared straight. I literally quit a $1,000 a week drug habit overnight. It was done. I said, I don't want anything to do with this. I have not drank or done a drug in 25 years, since May 31st, 1987. I mean, I know that date. It's like a line was drawn in the sand for me that I am done. I cannot cross this line again. And God made it very apparent to me, if I continued this behavior, this is where I was going to go. Now, the interesting thing was that the University of Northern Texas did a study on near-death experiences with people who attempted suicide. It was a 20-year study, and the findings were astounding to me, because I believed from that moment on that if you attempted suicide or committed suicide, you would go to hell. Well, this study, the commonalities, one was that there was no surefire where you were going to go was not determined by your suicide attempt, which it was 50-50. But I wouldn't bet 50-50 on eternity.
No.
So the other thing was that there was none of these people over 20 years repeated an attempted suicide. And they all believed they had a purpose after having been to the other side. And they all had these side effects that I talk about that people have, which was astounding to me as well. And I had never even talked to anybody who had a near-death experience before this. So it was a chance for me to sit down and actually have conversations with other people that had had similar experiences. And it validated that what I had seen was real, and that, this is what's going to happen after we die. And I didn't actually share this experience with anybody until my brother was was dying, basically. And him and I had an estranged relationship from our teens to when he was going to pass, which was, I think it was 2001 is when he passed. But I had worked with people who were suicidal. I knew that he was suicidal because he was dying of cancer, and that he had, was angry at God for what he had, cancer. And so he was the first person I sat down with and shared this story with, because I didn't want him to kill himself. And it was funny because I sat down with him. I poured my heart out, told him the whole story, didn't say a word to me. And I was like, wow. So I told him this is why I quit drinking and doing drugs in 87. And I told him. And he didn't say anything to me. There was no comment whatsoever. And 2 months later, he got saved. And then he passed. And that's why I do this work now, with sharing this story with other people.
How many years has it been?
It's 87, 20, 24, 25 years.
But to you, it's obvious this is still as fresh as though it were yesterday.
I wish it wasn't, but it is. And it's There are things that have been shown to me, like I was talking with Doug on the way here, where I have a real clear connection with God. He's patient with me and he works with me. And I was telling him that sometimes I get like where I'm like questioning God, which is like, what is all this about? Why are we here? What is the point of all this? I got angry one night and I went to sleep and I had this dream where it was very real. I woke up in a sweat and grateful I was back here again, but I had this dream where I was in this pit and I came to in this pit. And there's the smell of death, which I'm very familiar with because I clean up suicide scenes for families that don't have insurance or the money to pay for it to get done. So I go volunteer and do this. So I knew that smell. It was human corpses. And as I came to, I could tell that there was something to this. It was a lion. And I'm in this pit, and I see that there are body parts and dead people around me. And the only way out is up, and it's a light shining, the sun shining through this light in this hole. And the lion roars in a roar that shook the ground. I'm terrified. And I scream for help. And a rope comes down from the hole. And it's just within my reach, but I'm going to have to jump for it. And I know that I have one shot. And then I come to, I wake up, I come out of this dream, and I'm like, that terror, and I realize, that's life. It's like any moment we could die. You could die here any moment. You better know the way out. You better know the way out. And it was a very clear vision for me. And I stopped asking, when you're in it, you're not asking, how did I get here? Why am I here? You're just wanting to know the way out. And you don't want to die. And that's the message of the Bible. It's the way out.
It's interesting because I've interviewed dozens of people who've had near-death experiences, and I share them whenever I can with the audience so that they will understand what's going on. And they will understand that this life is not the end of it. And it's been clear as all of these stories get put together, this life is a very short testing period. I think someone figured it out once, it's like the equivalent of a 2.5-hour final exam. And each of us have our own tests. No two are alike. And I am grateful that you shared this experience with us today because, who knows, somewhere out there in this audience there's going to be somebody who thinks, enough already, I just want out of here. But it's not an escape, is it?
No, it's... The bad news is about hell is whatever you're experiencing when you die, you don't want to be experiencing the bad things. Because it's magnified. It's, if you think it's bad now, when you get there, it's way worse. Way worse.
So suicide is not an escape from problems. It's just the beginning of problems.
That's why my motto is suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I mean, you got to really get that. Because no matter what you're going through, you could be facing prison. You could be, somebody could have just died and you're heartbroken. We have techniques that I teach that have been proven without medication, without long-term therapy, to remove any type of emotional trauma you're experiencing. One, very simple, I'll leave everybody smiling today is my goal, is smile therapy. Berkeley did a study on this with manic depressants over a year. At the end of the year, they were declassified as manic depressants just through smile therapy. And that's where you sit back, don't do this if you're driving. You you actually look up at the ceiling and you smile, a goofy smile, 5 times a day. And what it does is it releases dopamine in your brain. It's a natural narcotic that we all have. And it will take you out of depression instantly. You got to do this. You got to do this for 3 to 5 minutes. And it sounds easy, but this is difficult. I mean, just look up and do a goofy smile and hold it. And do that. You know, obviously, you want to do this in the bathroom or something where nobody's looking at you because they're going to put you away. But it actually will create joy in your heart.
I really appreciate you sharing this. I wish we could keep you, but I know you have to go. Matthew Dovel.
Thank you for having me.
Speaking tonight.
When you work for a company, you know what goes on behind the scenes. I'm Becky, and I work for the best guy in the car business. I'm talking about affordable rent-a-car and sales owner Dave Eldridge. He grew up working in his parents' car dealership. It's the only business he knows, but he's the shy type, so until we can get him to come on KTalk, here's all you need to know if you're going to rent or buy a car. Come see Dave the Shy Guy at Affordable Rent-A-Car and Sales. We're at 4000 South State Street in Salt Lake City, or give Dave a call, 801-266-RENT. That's Affordable Rent-A-Car and Sales at 4000 South State Street, or call Dave, Becky, or Jen at 801-266-RENT.
Celebrate your craving for the very best seafood at Summer Hayes Halibut and Chips, 4870 South Highland Drive. Daily specials for $6.95, like grilled lobster sandwich, crab cake or haddock with chowder, shrimp Louis salad, and more. Tuesdays, get 2 grilled fish tacos with fries or salad and a drink for $5.95. Fish Fridays, 3-piece halibut and chips, just $12.50. And now enjoy all-you-can-eat fish and chips every Saturday for just $11.50. Homemade smoothies, creme brulee, and the all-new deep-fried banana split. Summer Hayes Halibut and Chips, 4870 South Highland Drive.
AM 630 KTalk, the voice of Utah. Drive Time Live with Mills Crenshaw.
6:21. I wish we could have kept Matthew Dovel, but look, I've been asked by some people, why do you have all of these near-death people on? And the only thing I can say is it is clear and present evidence that there is something beyond this life. And that also indicates that there is a purpose for life. And I just want to share these experiences with you from people who've actually had them. One of the things that you can't see, because this isn't color radio, but as Matthew would describe this, and it's, over 24 years ago, it still is a profound experience for him. Caller, your first name, please.